Hello, everyone. Good day. Welcome to this pre-recorded session. This is part of something that we call Beyond Session Border Controlling Series. You're going to see um, uh, several sessions like this coming in the next few weeks and months. So this one is going to be dedicated to how to improve troubleshooting effectiveness and how to gather and visualize metrics in a session border control environment. Okay, so let's move forward. Okay, I think it is a fact that the actual dynamics of the market and the most recent situations in the global market, there is a lot of pressure on improving on functionalities that we didn't have before or we didn't have enough awareness before. So accessibility, connectivity, interaction, and collaboration has been keywords in this new normal. Demand for technology infrastructure capabilities and skill must be a common uh, throughout of the ITC infrastructure of your infrastructure, um, IT and communications infrastructure. So um, we have been adding a bunch of functionalities and features to our flagship product, the SIParator. And I classify them in kind of 6 different groups. Call control, additional capabilities on the call control, provisioning, service orchestration, protocol proxying, metrics gathering, and diagnostic and troubleshooting tools. Um, in the previous slide, sorry, in this slide, I'm highlighting the two of them, metrics and diagnostics and troubleshooting. And those two are the ones that we want to dedicate this session today. So, talking about the other four, just to have a quick review, call control basically it means the capability we already have built in the separator using REST APIs as a REST API client to integrate call control at the call processing level. In other words, you can take routing decisions live um, while the call is being processed. So, and this is kind of another layer on top of our already existing header manipulation capabilities. REST API server for provisioning. In other words, the separator can be acting as a REST API server to receive requests and inquires from other applications in order to provision, modify configuration, or even adding licensing or updating software, etc. So orchestration is related to provisioning also, but is a higher level concept. Is the concept of be able to plug in an existing orchestration platform in order to play the role of provisioning the needs on the SBC related to a major provisioning activity across different platforms. Um, we have that already built in. We provide an SDK that is able to that provides you the ability to create your own scripts and applications, or you can just plug in into third-party orchestration platforms such as Ansible from Red Hat or CloudFormation from Amazon Web Services, etc. Protocol proxying, which is an old concept we already had built in since the beginning, about 20 years ago when we built the first separator um, product. We built it with the um, it was a unique product by that time. I mean, it was the only product, it was the only SIP proxy engine that had already built in all the typical firewall and relaying capabilities for other protocols. And the tool that we are going to talk today is basically diagnosing, troubleshooting, basically, how to add skills to your support organization in order to be able to filter, uh, um, uh, visualize, act on real time, and be able to customize uh, to improve your diagnostic or diagnosing capabilities. And also the second one, the second topic we're going to talk about is metrics, is how you can add capabilities in order to gather the right information, be able to put it in such a way that you can understand what are the trends, what is happening with the specific situations like CPU usage, memory usage, temperature on the unit, or um, SIP methods used, quantities, etc., etc. So let's move forward. So let's talk about diagnostics and troubleshooting. So the classical and usual way you approach and you provide your support teams is the typical vendor logs. I mean, every single vendor has a way to generate events information, usually called logs. Also, uh, any vendor is able to provide you hooks in order to connect and provide those logs or send those logs to syslog servers using syslog typical server infrastructure, or even adding protocols like SNMP to be able to plug in and provide traps to SNMP based NOC platforms, or even radios to gather information about call quality um, and call accounting, etc. And usually you also have, I may say that every single support engineer always has a way to generate a pickup or capture traffic information to be analyzed online or offline, or scanning tools like Wireshark or things like that. So what is new? We added, since release 6.3, we added the support for a specific protocol that is called HEP, or EEP also. It's a Home Extended Encapsulation Protocol. That's a protocol that was developed about 2009, if I am not wrong, and it provided you initially a capability in order to uh, see real time um, traffic information for specifically for SIP. When you have a HEP support, you basically are replicating the old concept of mirroring the traffic information and send it to another place for the analysis. Okay, that's what it does. The 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 product that we are going to show today, which are not the only ones, of course, but the ones that I'm going to use to show you how it works, are two platforms. One is called SNGREP, which is just an application that runs on a Linux platform, and also the other one is going to be Homer, which is a more graphical, advanced interface in order to be real-time analyzing traffic. So, if we are talking about metrics and data collection, which is the second topic that I'm addressing today, uh, The classical usual way is using vendor-specific tools. Some vendors already provide some way to generate and analyze and report metrics. Most of them are proprietary. Okay. So what is new in SIParator? And we has been always a true deliver of open concepts, standardized, uh, be with the standards. We are a company that builds all the technology on top of following standards, right? So we developed the hooks inside the SIParator in order to plug in to existing platforms that already provide you the capabilities of gathering, storing, or mining enough metrics information, and then enable you to be able to show it, analyze, filter, etc. So one of them is called Prometheus. Prometheus is a data explorer, okay, and it's a way for uh, the ingate or any device that has a Prometheus scrapper, which is the name that is used usually. What it has is basically a point of connection where real-time statistics is kept, has a snapshot every few seconds with a bunch of variables, and you can start scrapping from a third-party application and getting that information and store it in a database in order to be able to show it. Uh, we have also adopted uh, another, let's call it a technique or protocol using collect the daemon. That is a way to collect information and transfer performance data to a repository. We adopted also Graphite and OpenTSDB, Open Time Series database, for collection and storing performance data. So this is what we added in the SIParator. So Prometheus, collect the Graphite and OpenTSDB. And we have created, sorry for the misspelling there, uh, more than 95 specific metrics. So all those metrics are available for collection. So these are a quick diagram trying to show how the interoperability works. So I selected a few of the existing platforms that you can use in order to manipulate such time series data, data repositories or databases. OpenTSDB, which is an existing platform, Graphite, InfluxDB, which is a database, Prometheus that I already mentioned, even the same Homer that can be used for a real-time capture application. It has the hooks with InfluxDB in order to store time series also. Okay, so SNGREP application can get HEP traffic coming from the ingate or either the same. He can send, he can capture it on SNGREP and then forward that to uh, to Homer, or you can send directly from the ingate using HEP to Homer directly. So the ingate scrapper, Prometheus scrapper, will allow you to send to a Prometheus agent, um, and then via the Prometheus agent that can be used in conjunction with Homer or either with Grafana, which is the application that I'm going to show you, send the time series in order to be displayed and analyzed. So here is what we have on the lab for demonstration today. We have an SBC that is actually is a lab proof of concept that we have with one of the vendors in the market. um, and we're going to be sending heap traffic or heap information to an SNGREP application as well as a Homer application. Okay, those two applications, SNGREP and Homer, are being hosted on the same Linux machine, and then we have another Linux machine that is hosting Prometheus and Grafana. And Grafana will be my interface in order to visualize um, those time series. Okay, from the in-gate configuration is a very easy. I mean, it's very easy to configure. I mean, you just enable the Prometheus Explorer and you define which interface is going to be the one providing the information and which port will be queried from the Prometheus scrapper to get the the time series information. Okay, you can restrict the access from specific networks, and also the head capture server uh, is just we're going to have two uh, capture rules. Both of them are sending the traffic, in this case, in this example, to the same server because they have the SNGREP and the Homer application running on the same machine, but the ports designated for listening to the traffic sent are going to be different. So the application running or the SNGREP application will be listening on the port 9065, for instance, and the Homer will be listening on the port 9060. Okay, you can protect that traffic using instead of UDP or TCP, you can use TLS. You can assign certificates, certification authorities, etc., and then you can just encrypt all the information being sent. That is a good practice if you are using these to send information to repositories that are out of your network. Okay, so you can decide if you are going to send only SIP signaling or also media and RTCP, and that's it. There's not much than that in terms of what you need to do in the Engate. Those are some examples of the interfaces I'm going to show you to live in a few minutes. Okay, this is a Homer sample. You can see all the data of live traffic happening right now, and you can dig on any of those specific dialogues, SIP dialogues, using the call ID, for instance, and you can, graphically in real time see how the dialogue is happening. Okay, it's very similar of what you see in White Shark when you select voice calls or VoIP calls. Okay, but it's instead of being traditional, forensic analysis is using the captured data. This is happening live. Okay, here is an example of SNGREP. Okay, so you can see all the SIP transactions happening over here, and then you can dig on any of the specific transactions and look at the SIP dialogue, how it is happening. Okay. In terms of content, it's very similar of what you can get on Homer. Homer is a heavier application. SNGREP is a very light application that you can run. These interfaces that you see here, all of them are ASCII text oriented. There is no graphical interface. Okay, but it's powerful enough. You can apply filters, etc. And this is a sample of what the Prometheus Grafana couple can do for you. So we are scrapping information using Prometheus, and Grafana is the interface we are using to display what is happening. So those are, maybe it's not easy to read on this slide, but I'll show you live. Different time series time series variables that are being shown in a graphical manner. It's a very intuitive interface, and you can detect things like, for instance, a typical example is uh, from my existing CCS licenses, how I'm using them. Okay, statistically, how many simultaneous calls has been used from the licensing pool that I have? Okay, what has been the maximum usage, etc. So, so let's go live now. I'm gonna put a pause for a moment and then come back. Okay, so let's go to a live demonstration, and I will start by showing you a specific ingate that I have in the lab configured in order to produce all the data and connection using heap to the different environments that we just mentioned. So this is an ingate separator. So we have a configuration under the SIP traffic accounting. We have enabled the heap capture agent. This is the one that is going to be sending using heap all the SIP transactions to two different sites. One is going to be an SNGREP device server located in a specific IP. I'm using just the FQDN. And I'm using port 9065 to send the traffic. So the traffic is going to be sent to port 9065 using UDP to this server, sngrip.egalabs.com. We are going to send media. You have a few options here. No send media, send RTCP only, or send RTCP and RTP. And this is the agent ID that is going to be used for the capture, for capture purposes on the using the heap protocol. So it's kind of a header. And also we are going to have another FQDN, okay, where we're going to send to port 9060 on UDP. You can select any other transport also if you have the right configuration on the server side. And we are going to be sending also media, RTP and RTCP. So that's the configuration for the troubleshooting side of the advanced feature that we were talking about. For the time series, the configuration is in a different place. I'm going to show it in a few seconds. Let's see first how the advanced troubleshooting will help you. So let me just open my SNGREP CLI interface. Okay, this is my, it is just a Linux machine. Let me just get out of here. I'm just on the CLI. Okay, I'm just invoking my SNGREP application. Okay, and we're gonna be watching here very quickly some of the SIP dialogues happening. Okay, so here I see an options coming from this IP address to this IP address. Okay, so I'm gonna use a filter. I'm just looking for some invites. Let me try to filter invites only. Okay, and I'm going to make a phone call just to show you. I'm making a phone call right now. You're gonna see the invite happening. Okay, those are the different invites because you have the SBC is acting as a back-to-back user agent, and you want to see different uh, invite dialogues. Okay, so this is the SNGREP tool that I was talking about. I can just position on any of these invites. I can just press enter, and I can see the dialogue. I see the RTP traffic real time. I can analyze every single transaction here. Okay, so you can dig into the dialogue and analyze any headers, for instance. Okay, you can see, for instance, this is the SDP. I'm gonna just hang the call right now. You wanna see the call hanging, okay? I saw the buy coming in, 200, okay, accepting the buy, the media stopped, as you can see here. You can just go back. Okay, there is an example of what you can do with the SNGREP. So now, let me show you same type of transactions, but now using the Homer server. Let me look for the Homer server. Okay, here's my Homer server. Okay, so I have two different widgets here. One widget down here is showing any SIP transaction but invites, and this one up here is showing just calls. Those are SIP non-call related transactions or dialogues, and this one up here is basically calls. So it's refreshing every 5 seconds, as you can see here, and it's showing me the last 15 minutes of transactions. So let me just repeat the call. I'm just going to repeat the call. Okay, I'm making the phone call right now. Okay, let me just reverse the order here. Let me answer the call. Okay, let me look for the call here. Okay, there's the invite. Okay, I can see the call ID and session ID. If I click on any of the transactions, I can see the transaction itself. This is the SIP transaction. Or if I click on the call ID, you're gonna see now here, I can see the flow. Yeah. Okay, so you can see the flow. You can see the full message dialog. For instance, here, you can see you can export. Let's say you want to export a pickup or a text file showing the dialog. Okay, and going back to the flow. Okay, so you see the flow here of this specific dialog. Let me close this one. Okay, let me go down. This is another part of the same invite. For instance, let me just
if I go this other widget here, it's showing me other type of transactions that are not calls or SIP, like these options here. I can see the call ID. I can see the flow. SIP options 200, okay. IP addresses involved. I can see the transactions, the messages. Okay, I can export. I can see logs. Okay, those are heap related logs. Okay. So you have the basically real-time graphical tool. More or less, you're going to have access to the same information you have on SNGREP, but it's more visual. It's a fully graphical interface. Okay, so that is what I wanted to show you regarding these troubleshooting advanced tools. And again, we are taking advantage of using the heap protocol. So the ingate has its own heap capture agent, and it's going to be sending the information to one or more destinations that use heap as the protocol to receive and interpret whatever information is happening in real time. And now I'm going to move to time series. So let me just organize my... Okay, so now I'm back on the configuration interface for the SIParator. So all the time series configuration is managed as part of the logs, login and tools. Okay, so here you're going to discover on the login and tools a section that is called time series metrics, and we can send data using different database formats using this section here. Okay, so there are 3 different formats that you can use. You can enable or disable the time series. This is what information is going to be used as part of every single message sent to identify what is the source. You can send the MAC address of the interface ETH0, which is the one used to send the information, or the unit name or the serial number, or any custom string you want to create. In our case, in our example, instead of using a database a specific protocol, we are going to use Prometheus exporter. So the application that is going to be receiving the time series is going to be using Prometheus scrapper just to pull the information from the SIParator unit. So what we are configuring here is saying we are going to use Prometheus exporter. You can activate Prometheus exporter, and you want to say which interface is the one that is going to expose that information. Okay, which port will be exposed to provide the access to the time series data, and which networks are going to be allowed to access that port. Okay, in that interface. So that is basically what needs to be done here. So I have a server running Grafana, which is a time series graphical interface. So this Grafana server is receiving data from 3 different engages I have on the lab. So the one that I was showing the configuration is the one that has this interface, this IP address on the ETH0, okay? And we are scrapping the information from that IP address. And here you can see the different time series that has been. I mean, you have to do the configuration for the different time series you want to show. In this case, I'm showing, for instance, SIP counters. This is one section, or host CPU. as another series. Okay, so I can see the CPU usage here, or I can see network interfaces. Okay, so I can see the different network interfaces, the traffic usage on different in packet size, for instances, in packets on ETH0, ETH1. Okay, for each one of the interfaces, that information is exposed using Prometheus, and this application is scrapping that information every 2-3 seconds. Okay, so I can see host CPU here. Okay, you have different views. This is if you have a SIParator that is using more than one CPU, you're gonna see the statistic for each one of them. CPU 0, for instance, here. If it were the case with a CPU 1, there's gonna be another graphical statistical information. So SIP counters, I have ingress method counters. I have each one of the colors represent one type of request. Okay, so you can see the legend here. Egress response counters, 100 is okay, 200s, 400s, 500s. Ingress response and egress response. You have ingress SIP method rates. Those are rates for each one of the methods. SIP egress method rates. Okay. Licenses. This is one typical example of. We get that question many times from our customers saying, okay, how can I see how I'm using licenses? How can I see the statistical usage? So that can give me a clue of potential, overuse or needs stopping services because you don't have enough licensing, etc. So you can see the trends here. So on any of those graphical diagrams, you can change your for instance, I want to analyze this period of time, okay? So if I do this, the time is going to change. It takes a while. I'm using a very small server, that's why it's taking so long. Okay, so you can see I can analyze more in detail. Let me just review this portion here. Just take this little piece here. It's updated right now. It's about 95 different time series that the gate is providing. Okay, so you see, I can keep digging. So I can just now dig like this. So you're going in a more detailed or precise or narrow time segment. Okay, and so on. So you can design your own, let's call it widgets, with specific diagrams and time series you want to show and how to show them. There is a JSON file where you can create exactly what information you want to scrap from the ingate. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you today, and let me just do a quick summary of what we discussed in this session. And today's SIParator offers building blocks needed to integrate to visual real-time series capture and visualization, useful to discover anomalies, understand trends, and forecast new needs. So that's what the time series is going to help you in terms of understanding your operational key performance indicators and taking decisions in time before something goes out of control. And there is a real-time protocol analysis and visual tools to improve troubleshooting effectiveness. So it's not a matter of just the traditional tools you already have on the ingate, but also how you can plug in the ingate to third-party, more advanced tools that you can use to visualize and analyze and help you with the troubleshooting and planning. All this is available out of the box. It's no licensing needed. It's no additional cost involved. The only thing you need to do is to make sure that you have at least release 6.3.0. And all this is going to be just out of the box available on the GUI. So for more details, if you have any additional questions or comments, just feel free to send me an email. That's my email address, ernesto@ingate.com. If you have any sales questions or comments, sales-related comments, so you can either send an email to Enrique or Steve. Steve is our general manager. Enrique is sales director for Americas, and we will be happy to help you and get back to you. So that's all for today. So I hope to see you on the next session.